Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is the third time that I'm recording this now. It's driving me insane. So I hope that this works. I've literally cleared absolutely everything off my phone and I just literally have apps now. So, and they're only the very basic necessity apps. So fingers crossed, this horrendous phone of mine will just record for this session. Okay, so these are the three that I've made during the three recordings. Sorry, so this is the fourth time. And then these are some other examples of what I've made in the past. So, just to officially welcome you to this tutorial, which is kind of like the second part of the mini book charm tutorial. So basically, what you guys will have seen is in the Dark Academia swap that I did, I made a book charm like this. And I wanted to give you a tutorial on how to actually do this. So also to attach the book charm you'll need to make the book, and I have a tutorial for that as well, so I will link that below. So these are the two that I've made. This one and these, so they've got smaller and smaller, but to be fair, I overestimated the size of wire that I needed. Underestimated, I mean. So I ended up making a very, very small one. But to be honest, they're really, really cute because you can add them into things like journal charms. So just to use this one from April at Pink Codbird. So what I could do is literally attach that in there, maybe put a dangle on the end, and then it kind of works as part of a journal charm. So yeah, there's lots of things that you can do with these. The ones that I did, these were literally, I did these a few years ago. So these, I've put paper clips on the end, but that's probably not really feasible to use a paper clip because you're not going to clip that to a page really, unless I suppose you clip it on the front of a journal. But who knows, you can use them as you like. But what I've preferred to use is a lobster clasp. I feel like that works best. Now this one is 10 inches and I'm not going to do another one this big because what am I going to use that for? I just really wanted to try out this wire that I got. So I got this really cool wire from Hobbycraft, and it's a really gorgeous dark purple colour, but it's very, very flimsy. So just to show you, so with this one, if I try and press, it barely bends. Obviously if I really put some pressure on it, it would bend, but with this one, I'm not even holding it and it's just bending. So it is really, really flimsy. So unfortunately can't use this for this particular thing, but I am going to try and figure out something that I could use this wire for. If any of you know anything that this would work with, please let me know in the comments. So instead what I've got is just this wire. It's called Euro wire, and I got it from, it was just like a stall, I think, from a place called Affleck's Palace in Manchester, and it's a bit like an alternative gothy kind of building with quite a lot of gothy shops and stuff inside. There's a few fancy dress type shops in there as well, and I think there's like makeup and art, and there's loads of stuff like this, for example. But yeah, there's loads of really, really cool stuff there. I like going there. I don't really get to go there that often because I don't live that close, but when I do, it's fun. So, so what you'll need for this is you will need a set of pliers. So this was like quite a cheap set from Hobbycraft. Well, I say that, I literally can't really remember. I think this was the cheapest that they did. So it's a pair of needle nose, a pair of normal, and a pair of wire cutters. So you will need that if you're going to be working with this wire, and obviously you'll need the wire. You'll need a little bit of glue. Doesn't have to be that particular glue. And you'll need some book pages. So I've just got French book pages because I just think it looks beautiful when it's on the charms. So this is another one that I've done. So yeah, it's just got French text on there instead of English. And then you will also need some beads. So you can see here I've got quite a lot of beads because I'm using the gold wire. Those are the beads that I've chosen. I've got a couple of other bags. One's called Eastern Promise, one's called Tribal Bronze. And then I've also got some various beads from like broken jewellery and stuff. But also, if you can hear that, that is my next door neighbour who has been drilling all day. So yeah, apologies if that's loud. It is quite loud here, but I need to try and get this video recorded. There's fairly decent light at the moment, and like I say, this is the 4th time that I've tried to do this, so fingers crossed the phone will stop cutting me off and let me just record this tutorial for you. So like I say, the one here is basically the full width of a book page. So what I've done is I've just cut off the blank bit there and the blank bit there, and then so if I wanted the French to be visible, I'd just cut the top blank bit off so that I've got this here, and then the rest of it would be rolled in, and that would be the outside bit. So just kind of pick how you want your paper, and then once you've done it, this is what you're going to end up with. And it does look like a cigarette, but it's not, obviously, it's just book page. So I'm going to go with this piece. So this is 2 inches wide, and it's just the book page length. So there's not really a lot of writing there, so I'm probably going to end up with that, I think, at the top. So I'm just gonna chop that. Doesn't have to be perfect. So then the next thing that you'll need is a screwdriver or something that's got a uniform width that goes all the way across, and this is purely to roll this over. So it's kind of like making paper beads. Never really did that too much. It's more like a thing that came out when I was a kid, so I never really did it. So this was a first. So all you do is just start to wrap the paper around, and I did find out who actually did this tutorial originally, and it was Pam at the Paper Outpost, and I will link her video below so that if you do want to have a look at that video, you can do. So when you get to this point, just apply a little bit of glue to go across the end. Doesn't have to be art glitter glue, it could be Pritt Stick. I've just got that one to hand, and it does grab really quickly, to be fair. And then once you've done that, just take this out and you've got a little tube. So that is your paper bead. And then what you'd want to do is just ink it up. So just ink the edges just to kind of age it a little bit, give it a little bit of definition. And the same on the other side. So sorry about the drilling. It's what can you do? You know, neighbours, they like to do DIY, which, you know, it's not really, I don't really do a lot of DIY. This is my DIY. I mean, this is where I've got all my tools. Obviously, it's not for all that, but right, so what I'm going to do is grab some wire. So for a 2-inch one, I'd probably say you need about 10 inches, so that's roughly about 26. I'm gonna just go for 30 centimeters just to be certain. Sorry, I'm just using the glass board here to measure it. So grab your wire cutters and cut your wire. Okay, and then once you've got your length of wire, you just need to make a bit of an end. So you can just see there that that is what I'm aiming to achieve. So it's just a couple of coils and a bit of a neck. So just grab your wire and you want to put the very end of it into the pliers. So you want the needle nose pliers, and then once you've grabbed it, just start twisting. Let go and then grab it again, twist it, and then just do that. So just release and twist and just do that until you've got about 3 coils. on there. So I like to stop just before that next bit comes in, and then that's done. So you just want to try and get them as close together as possible, and then once you've done that, just bend it back a little bit, and that's just going to give you the kind of neck. Okay, so then the next thing you need to do is choose your beads. So be careful with your beads, you don't want to add too much length to this because otherwise it's not going to fit. So I'm just going to go with a black bead and this orange bead. So I'm going to do that the other way actually. The smaller the bead, the further away from the paper you probably want it, because you don't want it to disappear down the paper tube. Okay, so that's literally all I'm going to do. Then I'm going to add on my paper bead, so just literally thread that straight on there, and then I'm just going to repeat these again. So black bead and this orangey bead. Okay, so that is my charm. So I'm just gonna try and straighten the wire a little bit. You can probably manipulate it a little bit better once it's all kind of tied together. So then the next thing is to grab your needle nose pliers. Make sure you've got the beads as far down as they need to go, but don't do it too tight to the point where the wire is bending. And then, so you don't need to leave too much room, so about that. So you can just see it's about half my finger, and then just turn it, and then whilst you've got that grabbed, take your other piece and just wrap it around. I suppose there's no reason why you can't do like a bit of a coil at the end. So I'm just wrapping it like that, and then you can see you've got this length, and this is what's going to go around the charm. So all I'm going to do is just start to bend that around until I get to the bottom. Oh, I've bent that up a little bit there. Okay, so for that one, it's not quite long enough to reach the end, so I'm going to wrap it in the middle of these two beads here. And obviously when it gets a little bit closer, it's going to maybe be a little bit painful to use your thumb to do that, because that hurt. So I'm just wrapping that around and trying to do that on camera at the same time. Okay, so that's it. So I'm obviously not being too delicate with this because I've ripped my paper. But that is your bead essentially. So that's literally all it is. And then once you've done that, you can then start attaching different things. So like with this one, I added a charm at the end. All of these I added little charms from Just Broken Jewellery. And then the one that you will have seen on the Dark Academia is this one. So what I've done is chosen a bulb pin, used the mini book charm attachment and attached that there, and then I've added a lobster clasp, and I've also added a potion bottle at the bottom, and I've done the same with this one here. So all I've done to add that on is I've just basically gotten a split ring, and I've put the piece of thread through it and wrapped that around the neck of the bottle and just tied that off. And then I've added another split ring so that this one, so it can attach the two together basically. And then if I wanted to add the book charm to this one, or to this one, any, to be honest, what I would use is a bulb pin. So got a few here. So I'm going to grab an orange one to go with the theme. I think I got this from like AliExpress, it's only a couple of quid. so it wasn't too expensive. So then all I'm going to do is just pop the bulb pin in there. I'm going to grab a ready-made mini book and pop that on there, and then just close the bulb pin. And then there you go, you've got that there. Now I'm going to do something, I mean, I suppose it'd be a fashion faux pas, but I mean this is just junk journaling, so it doesn't really matter that much. Things are supposed to look messy and kind of rough and ready, aren't they? So I'm going to use a silver one with this because I don't have any gold, and then I'm just simply going to pull that through. So that's now got a lobster clasp on there, and that's kind of like the length of a journal. So if I just grab this journal, obviously the colours don't go, but if I had like an eyelet in the top there, I could just attach that onto it. So I've literally just grabbed the book and then just clipped that on there. And then there we have it. So that is a super quick tutorial, and I don't want to push my luck with the camera because it's actually stayed on. So hopefully that was nice and clear, but obviously, like I say, I have linked Pam from the Paper Outposts video for you to have a look at if you'd want to have a look at hers. She does do some other types of ones, like with fabric and things like that. I don't really use a lot of fabric in my crafting. I don't like it that much, so I tend to just use card and things. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and if you could leave me a like, that'd be brilliant, and please feel free to leave comments because I really do love reading your comments. All right, thanks very much for joining me. Have a good day. Bye.